Hey, what's up everyone? This is Silver Slayer. Thank you for tuning into this video. A lot of people are extremely bullish on precious metals, more specifically silver. Today, this article is going to dive deep, get into the meat and potatoes of why silver has so much potential. This article is called The Silver Pressure Cooker, talking about it's a ticking time bomb just waiting to explode. So before we start, make sure to smash that like button. Let's see if this video can get 250 likes. I think we can do it if everyone hits the like button right now. Thank you so much. Make sure you subscribe because I post daily videos. I also posted another video earlier today. If you missed it, you definitely want to check it out. So with that said, let's jump into the article. The silver market appears to be ready to blow its top, much like a pressure cooker whose relief valve stopped functioning even as the heat and pressure continued to build. The gold market is also likely to overheat, but at least in gold, its relief valve, the price of gold, appears to be functioning somewhat and has bled off much of the pressure. After all, the price of gold is up substantially on a year-to-date basis and is not that far from all-time highs. While gold looks poised to further gains, perhaps substantial, its price release valve has allowed much pressure to be released. It's quite different in silver. And let's jump back a step real quick. He's talking about gold has already exploded, basically. You know, it's already blown its top. It's still chilling at the top. There's still a lot of potential, but it's already hit that top. Silver hasn't blown its top yet. It's still bubbling up, and the valve hasn't released yet. It's still waiting to make that move. So it's quite different in silver. Since prices are barely changed on a year-to-date basis and current prices are still close to 65% below the highs registered, both 40 years ago and again 9 years ago, nothing could demonstrate the malfunctioning of silver's price relief valve relative to the gold in the recent 5,000-year undervaluation of silver to gold. As for why silver's price relief has ceased to function and gold's valve is somewhat sticky, that's obvious. The release mechanism was gummed up due to the concentrated short selling on the COMEX. For years, the concentrated short selling was led by JP Morgan, but the bank has recently abandoned the short side, leaving 8 other big shorts to deal with a mess when the lid blows off. Where are the heat sources causing the pressure to build up in the silver market? For the past few months, the main heat source has been the massively insane quantities of physical silver purchased by and deposited into the silver ETFs, led by the largest, which is SLV. More physical silver, 220 million ounces, has been deposited into these investment vehicles over the past few months than at any time in history. Let me repeat that. Never in history has so much physical silver been bought and deposited into silver investment vehicles in such a short time. Now, I just made a video talking about silver demand and why it's skyrocketing. So if you really want to get into the demand side, the supply side, check out my last video. But it's definitely something you got to really think about. Like, did you hear what he said? This means so much. This really does showcase where silver could go. And I know a lot of people try to compare silver to gold, but they're completely different. They're completely different metals. They have completely, I mean, they basically are correlated in price, but right now, actually, silver is still down while gold is up. So when silver does blow its top off, where is that going to lead its price compared or relative to gold? We see the gold to silver ratio still 96 to 1. So some speculate the ratio could be as low as 60, 70 to 1, which means silver could extremely outperform gold. And that's what we've seen in the past, especially with the 2008-2009 credit crisis, especially in 2011, which led to $50 silver. You know, coming from $4.90-something cents all the way up to $49, while silver jumps thousands of percent, gold only jumped a couple thousand percent. So, common sense would dictate that much more physical silver being bought in less time would exert much greater upside price pressure. To be sure, silver prices are up from the March lows, but are flat from year-end and still down 65% from the peaks of 9 years ago. This is not complicated math or advanced pricing formula. More of a commodity being bought in the shortest time ever should result in a sharp price advance, most likely the sharpest in history. Absence such as expected advance explanations for why this hasn't occurred should be apparent. But that's the problem, namely no good or at least legitimate explanations come to mind. Clearly the price of silver, the release valve on the pressure cooker, is not functioning. Stated differently, this is yet another clear proof that the price of silver is manipulated. And we've talked about this a lot on people keeping gold and silver in a bubble. We've seen JP Morgan, and the Dutch bank, Merrill Lynch, spoofing, placing false buy orders on these exchanges and canceling them before they go through, tricking people into buy up precious metals or sell them. We saw the same thing with JP Morgan with cryptocurrency when they called Bitcoin a scam, shot the price down thousands of dollars, then bought up millions of dollars in Bitcoin right after the price went down. So there's definitely some shady stuff going on. It's now a punishable crime. 3 of JP Morgan's employees went to prison. They're still digging deeper into this, but it's still going on. And we know that there is some manipulation. We just don't know to what degree. So it is because the price of silver has been manipulated, artificially suppressed for so long, decades in fact, that an unprecedented level of pressure has been created. This pressure for higher prices, and they're talking about when the bubble pops, the pressure for higher prices, more than ever seen in any other commodity, has to blow up at some point, and all the signs suggest the explosion may be at hand. What signs? The first sign is that it has become really difficult not to notice that the price of silver is not functioning as would be expected. Given the surge in the documented physical buying, oh sure, there will always be a few who insist silver is priced correctly for what we have to be the most nonsensical reason imaginable, but for every recalcitrant bear, there has multitudes of newly converted silver bulls. In fact, I've observed more commentators previously skeptical or wishy-washy on the prospects of silver turned such avid bulls that I wonder how it is they made the conversion to bullishness so seamlessly. And that is true. A lot of people who are a little sketchy or skeptical on silver are now extremely bullish on silver. So it's not hard to be extremely bullish on silver currently, and the reasons for being bullish have never been more compelling. Even the Silver Institute, which to my recollection has never issued price predictions on the metal, is now calling for silver to rise in the price due to the obvious explosion in physical investment buying, both on a retail and a wholesale basis. The only thing being left out is by the Institute, of course, is why the price of silver is so cheap to start with. As is the case with many, the issue of price manipulation can never be acknowledged, no matter how obvious. Every day, more are coming into the bullish silver fold, and I have yet to observe any defections. Certainly, and most likely, the well-informed recent buyers of the $220 million physical ounces don't appear to set abandon to their bullish conversion. People have heavy hands. These aren't weak-handed people. Unlike the previous 2 runs to $50, the buyers at this point are not chasing prices higher, but are accumulating in a highly measured manner. The antithesis of hot money. I'm convinced that the hot money phase lies ahead, and when it does kick in, it will further blow the lids off prices. So in the past, when we see $50 silver, it crashes extremely fast afterwards. It can't continue to go on. And I remember reading a lot of articles in 2011 when silver was $50. A lot of people weren't selling because they thought the prices were going to go higher. And a lot of people did sell. I mean, but right now we're talking about strong-handed people that when silver does hit this $50 point, and not if, but when, it just depends on how long. Maybe it's 5 years, maybe it's 10 years, maybe it's 5 months. It's definitely not 5 months. But when this does happen, there's going to be an explosion in interest in people from friends, just like Bitcoin, the Bitcoin explosion. Friends, family, Coinbase was the #1 downloaded app on Android and iOS. People that don't invest regularly, people that don't invest are going to become investors buying silver, coin roll hunting. It's going to become the thing to do. And that's because there's so much potential. And once people see that potential, that's when it kicks in. Right now, people are skeptical. They look at silver price and say, oh, it's low, but they're not looking at the future. They're not looking at the whole picture. It's going to take some proof before they really get the picture. And that's where we come into play. That's where we take advantage, because we don't have to buy silver at $30, $40 an ounce. We're buying it at $15, $16 an ounce, and we're going to make 10 times more money than those who are going to be buying later. Just like I bought Bitcoin at $1,800, most people bought Bitcoin at $15,000, $20,000. When I bought it at $1,800, that's because I got in before the curve. I knew what was going to happen. I saw the bigger picture, and that's how we are going to get rewarded so preciously, no pun intended. So There is no question that the price lid will be blown off the silver pressure cooker at some point, so even though it's admittedly impossible to predict exactly when that will be, more relevant is what to expect as the lids come off. Simply put, this will be somewhat never seen. In the 2 previous silver price runs to $50, the short sellers never fully catapulted and managed to rig the prices sharply lower in a fraction of the time it took for the price to rise. And that's what I was just talking about. Since so much silver has been acquired before prices have climbed much on this go-around, the prospects for massive downside liquidation appears to be rather limited. My definition of the lid being blown off this silver pressure cooker includes the big short sellers collectively throwing in the towel and moving to buy back shorts. That has never occurred, but it will at some point. In fact, we have yet to ever witness any real concentrated silver short covering on higher prices, and this is probably the clearest proof that silver has been manipulated for all these decades. So, it goes on to talk about, silver shorts, all this stuff, but I really wanted to just, bring this article to life because it explains so much. And by the way, if you want to keep reading on this article, I just like to try to keep my videos at a timely fashion. It just keeps talking about, the ETF side of things with JP Morgan, the shorts and the COMEX and all that. So if you want to keep reading on, the link to this article from SilverSeek will be in the description. But anyways, what I was saying is the point of this is that it really does showcase where prices are headed. Everyone tries to look back on the past, and you can't be stuck on the past. You got to look forwards. You got to see the patterns, recognize what's happening in the economy, recognize the ins and the outs, the insight. Insight is so important. Patience and insight will take you a long way, but you also got to budget. You also have to you have to really look at this, and you can't lose track. You can't get distracted. It's so easy to get distracted with so many things going on in the world, so many distractions, and that's what they want you to do, but we got to stay focused. We got to remember the bigger picture. We got to look at this and see the potential at bay. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this article from SilverSeek. If you did, make sure to smash the like button. Let's see if this video can get 250 likes. Everyone go like the video right now if you love precious metals. If you thought this video was educational, informational, or at least just entertaining, please subscribe. I post daily videos. Go check out the video I posted earlier today. You definitely don't want to miss that one as well. Thanks for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.